What makes you change your mind? Think about a time when your perspective shifted about something. Maybe something important, like what to major in, or maybe it was something less significant. What factors led to that shift? Did new information change your view? Maybe a conversation with a friend, your own experience, or some combination of factors. When we study rhetoric, this is what we're trying to understand: how we are influenced by others' language, and, in turn, how we use language and other symbols to influence others. For this class, we're interested in looking at how groups use rhetoric to get things done. Consider the specific vocabulary of your field. What are some terms or phrases that people in your major commonly use? Or compare the way that professionals talk to each other versus the way they talk to the general public. When people within a profession, social, or political group talk to each other, they use specific, sometimes very technical and complex language practices to do their work. But when experts talk to non-experts, they use simpler, more common language. Being able to identify, understand, and effectively practice these field-specific ways of using language will help you succeed in your chosen field. This is a big task. It involves thinking about not only what you say and the specific words you use, but how you organize your ideas, what visuals you include, which technologies you use. In fact, every choice you make when you communicate is rhetorical, and an opportunity to build a stronger relationship with your audience and get things done. As you progress through your major, it's important that you study and practice the rhetoric common to your field, but it's also important to be able to translate the technical language you use into language that a non-expert can understand. Most likely, there will be many situations where you'll be interacting with people whose expertise is different than yours, and you'll need to work together to accomplish a common purpose. Whatever the situation, using a few key rhetorical concepts will help you adapt your writing or speaking to any situation. Thinking about things like purposes, audiences, and context every time you write will help you become a more effective, agile communicator. We could say that thinking rhetorically starts with the big three. Context: the many details that surround a specific communication task. For this class, we'll look at situations you might commonly encounter in your field. So things like what kinds of people you might work with and on what sorts of projects. The rhetorical context is both broad and general. For example, what technical terms and phrases are used in your field? What genres are typically used? But the context is also specific and unique. For example, for the group project assigned in one of your classes, what exactly do you have to produce and what's the criteria for that project? Who are the other team members and what's their expertise? And how does this group function together? What are the choices you can make? And what choices have been made for you? So thinking about context helps you understand important factors that will shape your writing or speaking. Purpose. The purposes involved in a communication task can be both direct, such as write a status report for your manager, and indirect. In that report, you're most likely also trying to maintain or improve your relationship with your manager by giving an accurate and thorough description of your work. Thinking about rhetorical purposes includes considering the message, the motivation, and the effects. Audiences and relationships. Most likely, at some point, you've already thought about how you adjust your language, style, even tone of voice based on who you're talking to, or texting, or writing to. But thinking about your audience involves thinking about something more. Not only who your audience is, but who they think you are, and the relationship between you. What do your readers or listeners know about your expertise or experience? And so what do they expect from you? Have you interacted with them before? So, in other words, what's your history and how might what you write or say further shape this relationship? So this is where it all comes together. If you have a pretty clear understanding of the context, purposes, and audiences and relationships, then you're ready to make savvy choices about what you say and how you say it, or write it. Thinking about the choices involved in communication includes everything from considering the 3 classic rhetorical appeals, to choosing the level of vocabulary, to using a particular organizational structure, to choosing the visuals or even the font you might use. It also includes thinking about ethical considerations, questions of accuracy, reliability, transparency, or confidentiality, for example. Although it's impossible to fully list all the choices that are involved in even a straightforward task, the more fully you think about the context, purposes, and audiences, the more ready you'll be to make effective and ethical choices. Think of a group project that you've worked on, either for a class, a social or political group, or as part of a hobby. Describe the rhetorical context, purposes, and audiences, and then think of some of the specific communication choices that you made based on that situation. Evaluate those choices. Were they effective? Could you have made different choices, either in the way you spoke or wrote, the content you included, or in the modes of communication you used? Getting into the habit of thinking about these concepts when you have to write an important document, advocate for a social or political cause, give a presentation, go to a potentially contentious meeting, or write a paper for this class will help you fulfill the ultimate goal of the course, that you become a more agile communicator, someone who can see the communication situation and make strategic and ethical choices that just might, in fact, change someone's mind.